ladies and gents, let's talk about James Bond, No Time to Die. I have seen it. It's out now. It's out in most parts of the world, actually. And we'll talk non-spoilers, then we'll get into spoilers. So this film has been it's been mired with lots of negativity, hasn't it? Actually, by and large, courtesy of the cast, crew, everyone involved, producers, etc. A lot of it's just their own fault. They've been painting it out to be something, and they had an undeniable backlash for that. Because as much as companies seem to believe that that's what everyone wants, the numbers don't bear it out. We've seen it time and time again. Now, is this movie good? Let's just say straight from the off, and then I'll kind of get into my reasoning for, my overall opinion. No, not really. I really like the end, but it was a slog to get to it. It has really bad pacing. It has really, really bad pacing, and unless you're, I think if you're a die-hard Daniel Craig James Bond fan, I think you'll really enjoy it. But it's almost like action set piece interconnected. Basically, you're just waiting for the next action set piece to come along. And one thing which defines a James Bond film, each James Bond film, is its sort of, one standout action set piece. There always is one, isn't there? There's always one. This one, I can't think of one. I genuinely can't think of one. And I think back to Pierce Brosnan, right? And I think of him, surfing down a huge wave. And, do you know what I mean? Doing all this just nonsense, getting in a tank. There's all this stuff that it springs to mind when you think of these films. And this No Time to Die, it didn't have a memorable action set piece for Bond. But that's not why it fails. It fails because it has really, really bad pacing, and the story is a little bit boring to get to the point. So we have the payoff would have been really good if the setup was better. So the setup to get to that payoff, which is the ending, because I really liked the ending, but that setup is not that great. It's quite long and arduous, and I like a slow burn. But I think to enjoy this, you have to really like Daniel Craig's Bond. Or just like these kind of movies, I guess. I don't know. It's not terrible. It's just not a great film. But I will say this, the end got me. It got to me, and I think in my older age, most things to do with sort of family and things like that do tend to get to me. And the end got to me, and it's sufficiently nice payoff, but it didn't need such a large setup. That's probably the best way to put it. Good payoff, didn't require a 2-hour setup for that final, half hour, 45 minutes, whatever it was. It's a bloody long film, and it feels even longer because of the bad pacing. So, let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about Lashana Lynch's 007, because that is the title that she has. I don't understand what the appeal is. Women who watch my channel, you tell me whether you like a woman to be, I don't know, a bit of an insufferable S-hole, or, D-bag. Because Lashana Lynch is that character that we saw in the initial trailer, where she goes, stay in your lane, Bond, or I'll put a bullet in your knee, the one that works, or the good one, or something along those lines. That is her character. There is a slight shift and a change, but by and large, that's who she is. I don't understand why we need to have these characters to, prop up women. It seems quite strange to have all these incredibly, what would be deemed toxically masculine traits on a man and put them on a woman and then say, there you go, women, that's your character. What? Why? She's a bitch. It's not nice. She's just a bit of a bitch. And her lazy tardiness costs quite a lot in this film. And it's a shame. Daniel Craig is reasonable in this film. I think he does a pretty... I like Daniel Craig as an actor. I think he's actually a really good actor. Watch him in Layer Cake. That's always my go-to. I always go, watch him in Layer Cake. You'll like him as an actor. He's a great actor. I just don't think he's ever really given enough to do as Bond. But I think with what he was given, this was sufficiently as good a performance as he could give. Ana de Armas is fantastic in this. but she's in it for all of like 10 minutes, if that. She's wow, she's Anna de Armas, isn't she? She could do just dreadful things, and I'd be like, thank you. She's lovely, and she's very, very good at what she does in this. Watching her kick ass, again, you've seen it in the trailers, so there's no spoilers, but watching her kick ass, I can believe it. You know, she's got, this is the thing, she looks athletic. So to watch her do the things she does makes a lot of sense. I appreciate it. Now, Rami Malek's Safin. I don't get it properly. I don't get it properly. I understand his motivation. I understand all of that. Didn't get the direction he was given. The performance is good. Don't understand why he was told to do that performance. Weird. Weird way to bring this villain to life, I thought. And it wasn't, again, it wasn't terrible. I like a cold, calculating villain, which that's what he is. He is very cold, he's very calculating. Very slow, methodical, almost lethargic in his way, in the way he talks, but it's not. There's conviction and calculation behind his words and his actions, and I like those kind of characters. But I don't think he did enough to earn it. So when a character is like that, I feel that they should do quite a lot with it, right? Case in point, there's a really good, cold, calculating villain, massive amount of conviction, very polite, well-mannered. I think it was is the movie called Serenity? Chiwetel Ejiofor, I think the actor's name was. Plays like the worst person alive, awful human being, so cold, so calculating, does horrendous things, and it makes you go, wow, this guy I do not want to mess with. And I feel to have a villain like that, and to fully appreciate that, and for a villain to fully embody that cold, calculating nature, I feel they have to do a little bit more. And Rami Malek didn't do enough. But again, that's not his fault. This is the thing, it's not his fault. He's actually a really good actor. And to look at his transformation from this, well, from any other movie he's been into this, I think he did a really good job. Not overly sure why there's UK charities looking to ban people with disfigurements. He barely has a disfigurement. Honestly, it could be acne scars, for God's sake. Like, just grow up. I don't get it. It's barely there. Calm your shit down, alright? So, Jeffrey Wright was good. Ralph Fiennes was good. Boy, has he put on some weight. He's looking old nowadays. Q, can't remember the actor's name. I don't have it up in front of me here, because normally I can just, reel off most of these people. Q, they made gay in an offhand comment. Thought it was a bit needless, a bit pointless. It's a blink and you'll miss it moment. Now those are the moments which make a lot of sense in terms of having a character be that, right? Changing their sexual orientation. But it just seemed a bit, I don't know, pointless really. I don't know who that's for. But again, it's kind of all by the by really, because it was so offhand, it's not ham-fisted. It was just, I'm waiting for him to come around. He's setting up a date and I'm waiting for him to come around. And you're like, oh yeah, okay, you say that, they made him gay. And it's like, yeah, whatever, who cares? Like, it's not a big deal. But it's those small little offhand comments that you'll get throughout this movie, which, soon pile up. Lashana Lynch's comments. Quite an obtuse character, non-stop actually. And again, she's a shit 00 agent, so I don't understand where she gets the sass from. She's terrible. Like, she's actually awful in this. As her character is awful. She's written like a bad 00 agent. Like, someone's forever cleaning up after her. Like, okay then, whatever. So, Leah Seydoux, good. She doesn't really do an awful lot. She sort of cries a lot, mopes a lot, as per most of her roles. But she did a really good job in it. She's believable. She is believable. Most people are believable in this film. It just was too long. It was just too long, with not enough going on in it to warrant that pace. Like, it's all... I understand what they were going for. They were going for this sort of big, you know, set it up, and then boom, we get the payoff. And it's too much setup for such a bad... You know, the payoff was great, but it was... The setup just wasn't sufficient enough to land it properly. I don't know. I'm sure there'll be people that will, you know, jump out and go, no, I loved it. I loved it from start to finish. And honestly, more for you. Good. Like, really, really good that you did. The gunplay, good. We do have a patron of the channel, Dan Tucker, a Texan, who will probably jump in and, you know, in the comments say whether the gunplay was good or bad. The guy knows his guns. But I thought the gunplay was relatively good. I'm not an expert, I don't know, but it looked good. All the action looked good. It all was filmed good. It was what it was supposed to be for the budget. Well, we'll get to that in a moment, actually. It all looked like it should have done for a high-end blockbuster film. Budget-wise, though, how do you need to earn 800-900 million to get money, you know, to break even on this film? How? Holy shit. I don't know where the money's gone. Oh, also Q said, oh, it's an EMP, it's an electromagnetic pulse, it does blah blah blah. We all know what EMPs are. Please stop telling people. Please stop telling people. We know. Like, come on. Please stop telling people. We know what an EMP is. Even kids know what they are now. It's in their video games. Stop it. We all know what EMPs are. So yeah, there you go. There's my review. I can't recommend rushing out to see it. I understand why they left the embargo up to the day before release. It's either because of spoilers or because they think, you know, people will be talking about the pacing being bad and it will put people off. Because it's a slog. It's a slog of a film. It's a slog of a film. I don't know whether I think it's going to get its money back. Maybe. Bond films traditionally do pretty alright. I think this might struggle to get its money back. But as a good send-off for Daniel Craig, yeah, good send-off, I thought. Good send-off. So anyway, there is the non-spoiler part. And then we're going to get into spoilers. So there's the non-spoilers, ladies and gents. This is your warning for spoilers ahead now. You're going to stay around and listen to some spoilers. We'll talk about it. We'll get straight into the ending in a minute. This is your warning. Right, let's get into spoilers then. Also, if you're going to leave, by the way, just, you know, thanks so much for watching. Hit that like button on your way out. But let's talk spoilers now. Right. So, the action set pieces. The one from the trailer at the where he jumps off of a bridge and he sort of swings down. That's the start of the film. The bike, start of the film. I guess that's the action set piece that people may remember from this film, but I don't think that's good enough. You know, I just don't. I don't think that's good enough because it was in all the marketing. And you want an action set piece to wow you, and part of the wow is the surprise. End of the film. Well, Bond has a daughter, doesn't he? And he has to save them. Oh, God. He dies at the end. How are they going to continue Bond now? And also make it worth something if they bring him back. Because this film's completely pointless if they just bring him back from the dead. I don't get it. Right, so anyway, what's the story? So, Safin basically wants to kill all of Spectre. He kills all of Spectre with his Heracles virus, nanobot virus, programmable DNA. Yeah, programmable nanobots to kill people with their DNA. He manages to kill all of Spectre, and then he wants to kill the whole world. Alright then, sure. And then it's Bond's time to stop him, because Bond's roped back in from retirement. How many times has this guy been retired? Like, seriously? Lashana Lynch is the new 00. She's sassy. She's a bitch. And she's the 007 now. And, you know, Bond better stay in his lane or else. But then Bond keeps showing her up. So stop being sassy. Do as you're told. Like, literally, Bond kept showing her up. Bond goes to save his ex-girlfriend, Madeleine Swan, who now has a child, and lies to Daniel Craig's Bond and says, no, it's not yours. Definitely yours, you idiot. It's got bright blue eyes. And Lashana Lynch's Nomi was on the way there. Doesn't come in, doesn't do anything. Oh, she was on the way to go get someone else. Yeah, no, Daniel Craig, James Bond, steals the target from her. Daniel Craig's Bond keeps cleaning up after this woman. And yet still, she's really sassy about it all. And I'm like, you're a terrible character. You're a terrible human being. You're an awful, awful person. You've got no right to be that sassy. You're not good. Like, you're not good at what you do. But they even have the nerve to try and write that into the story. I excelled at blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know, no, you didn't, though, did you? If you did, then everyone else was really shit. I don't get it. But anyway, Safin knows Madeleine Swan, doesn't he? Of course he does. And Safin saved Madeleine Swan from himself. Because he was an assassin and went to kill Madeleine Swan's family. Her father and her mother, and went to kill her. She shot Safin and ran off onto a lake that then, I mean, it's in the trailer, that then she fell through, and Safin's there and rescues her. Shoots the ice, saves her life. And oh no, now Madeleine Swan's indebted to Safin. And they're like, alright then, cool, no worries. I guess. Oh god. Oh, but wait. Safin knows about Bond and Madeleine Swan and their child. And takes them to his island, where he's got all this nanobot virus thing. And then infects Bond with the nanobot virus thing that's programmed specifically to Madeleine Swan. So wait, at the end, life isn't worth living now. Because they established earlier in the movie that you can't get it off you. It's there for eternity. So wait! Bond basically kills himself because he's like, I've got no reason to be alive anymore. And in fairness, like, I actually really liked the ending. I thought it was very sweet. Like, it got me. Like, it, you know, I was about to well up in the theatres. Again, like, I've become a bit of a pansy in my old age when it's to do with family and things like that. So yeah, I like the ending, but what terrible setup to get to that as a payoff. Because they took so long to get there and actually build up that interaction with Bond and his daughter. If that was from the outset, because they start with Madeleine Swan and Bond, that's the start, and Vesper and all that kind of stuff. They start there. If they had that quicker, rather than dealing with Lashana Lynch's bloody 007 and Jeffrey Wright's, you know, Felix Leiter dying and all this kind of crap, if they got more like straight to the point with Daniel Craig realising he's got a kid and all this kind of stuff, I think you'd end up with a much better film, much tighter film, with a bigger emotional payoff. But that's just my humble opinion. Again, action set pieces are fine, whatever. There just wasn't anything special in this film. Long old film for not an awful lot to happen in it, I guess. So there you go, guys. There's my review. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Love to hear any and all of your thoughts. Is it woke? That's what everyone's been saying. I don't know if you could tell. Like, they put Bond down a lot, but Bond literally cleans up after the new 007 all the time. I don't get it. So they're just trying to teeter on the edge of trying to please two people, and thus failing at both. Super dumb. Anyway, let me know what you think down below. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Thanks so much for watching there, guys. Take care.